Hey guys, and welcome back to All the Mods 10. This is going to be episode 29, and I'm determined to set up Fusion this go around. Speaking of upgrades, like from Fusion to Fusion, I'm going to go from the manual Hephaestus Forge to the full auto version of the Hephaestus Forge. All I need to do is get all of these things in my inventory, and to that effect, of course, I've already gone ahead and crafted a whole boatload of modularium using the old one. This took absolutely forever, but it's done now. And of course, there's no point in me going there to check this constantly. I'm just going to have this here and then keep looking back and forth to make sure I have everything. Wish me luck. You know what that means? That means I'm having to encode better hatches into recipes. Hell yeah. And the best part about having these on a passive system is the fact that every now and again, a witch just straight up disappears from right in front of my eyes. And because of its redstone control, a new witch spawns every time the one standing on the pressure plate disappears. It's a pretty decent system in my opinion because it makes it such that that spawner isn't always active and new witches keep coming in every now and again. It's pretty cool. With the last of this reinforced casing being crafted, I think I'm done. I think I'm ready. I wonder what's taking it so long. Let's go check it out. Oh, it's just making the dark steel. Okay, hold on. There it is. It made 4. That's quite alright. Putting this here, and that's a bunch of check marks. 29 polished darkstone stairs seems to be missing a check mark. Alright, that mistake's fixed now. Just crafted a bunch of that darkstone into its appropriate variant. And I hope that that's it. If it says missing structure, it doesn't. It says no matching recipe found. That means this is the correct structure. Holy crap, this thing's big. I have some stairs to fix. Please wait. It's also gone ahead and put in all of its hatches except for the energy and the output hatches. And I think I'm going to put the energy output or the energy hatch right here. Okay, that's a reinforced machine casing. Hatch goes here. Still an appropriate valid structure. And I'll put this right here. So the output comes out of the back. You've already seen me automate the blood using the bloody bee in the finishing touches of a previous episode where I was using that setup. You've seen me set up the Oriole and the liquid ghosts, the liquid souls, those things. What you haven't seen me do is automate the XP fluid, and some of y'all are gonna hate me for this, but this is my setup. It's a 1-to-1 conversion of XP juice into the Just Tired Things experience, and it just basically puts it in here and sucks it right on out, and yeah, that's it. Now, this unfortunately does mean that we have to do surgery from the underside, and in fact, I think I should be able to just dig out this entire square right here to figure out what input goes where. Those are fluid inputs, and then there's an item input in the middle, 8 item inputs around it. That's going to be an output, and that's going to be an energy tab. Cool. And I think I can set up a system extremely similar to this right here, over here instead, where I push power into that port, have 4 outputs that autocraft and put into their respective hatches, and then pull this back into the pattern provider. And good news, folks, A7EC, which is this one right here, happens to be connected to the bees and also the vacuum freezers, or is it the EBFs? One of the two. And it only has 7. So, another one of these comes online. And now I do believe I should be able to hook this up to that, and all will be good in the world. Here we are. This checks out. Everything's booting up. Ooh. And while stuff boots up, this is all backing up into my inventory. Are we okay? Is stuff going in here? It is. Stuff's being crafted up. I bet the Rune Forge is going right now. There should be stuff in here. And there is. Look at it go. Perfect. And now it's constantly telling me that it's missing the input item. And that is by design. There is no recipe encoded currently, so there is no input items. What I want to check on is this thing right here, and it should just be processing pretty much constantly. It's currently doing the souls, and it'll keep doing one or the other or both or something like that until all of those hatches fill up. And of course, I can't have this stuff visible from the outside, so I'm just gonna put cable anchors on it. The blue cable is perhaps a terrible choice because it stands out so brightly against the yellow, but I think those would have done the job at concealing it pretty much perfectly, I think. It looks a little bit weird because of the lack of connected textures, I bet, but hey, at least it looks okay. Alright, all of that prep work has culminated into this pretty much sole moment where I would like to autocraft Modularium, for example, using this recipe right here. And I would like to not use any of these, just encode the items. And then I should be able to search for a forge, and I've christened it the auto forge. This here. And then I should just be able to request which one of these, and it should go ahead and do it. I see no reason for it not to. It's going to craft those first, and it's going to craft these four. I'm excited about this, which is why I'm recording. Otherwise, I would have just said, been like, hey, it worked or it didn't. All of it should have ended up in here. And oh man, I was hoping this would work. Let's debug this. All of it ended up in here. Oh, the subnet's unpowered. Easy fix. Just need some quartz fiber. I can just pick some off there, plug that in. Bing bang bosh. All done. And I bet everything's booting because of the power change. That's okay. Completely fine by me. That's all gone. That should have used up a bunch of power. And there should be a bunch of stuff in here. Well, I assume there's none there, so here's me hoping that it's done or doing at the very least. Please. What's happening? It's not telling me. Well, there's nothing in the output buses or the input buses either. It's used up its stuff. I guess it's done and I must have missed it. I'll try again. Alright, I'm trying again, and I've upgraded this to a huge fluid input hatch. Those are just the big ones. That's because I'm trying to craft up a quantum injector, which needs 50,000 of that, 500 of that, 30,000 of that, and 10,000 of that, and each one of these can hold 40 if memory serves me right. So, given that only one of these needed upgrading, yeah, I'm hoping this is correct. Because that's 50, that's 500, that's 30. And yeah, all of these are less than 40 except for this one. 38. I'll report back when this hits 50 because there's nothing in here. And yeah, the multimeter and the other stuff, the quantum cores are either, yeah, there's the quantum cores and the multimeter is also in one of these hatches. So all I can do is wait patiently and see if this works or not. I don't like waiting like that. Oh, okay. It just used up the 50 buckets of Oriole. And the craft didn't come back. Where's the craft? Uh, is that what happened to my modularium? Yeah, where'd my craft go? Excuse me? Can I not put it... Uh, huh? That says it's online. There's nothing in the export bus. And there's nothing in these things too. What is happening to my machine? I'm gonna ask in the Discord about this, cause... What? Let's try this again, shall we? I would like to craft some modularium, please. I wonder what the system does about it. Oh, okay. Well, it's doing something or the other. I sure hope it's making me my modularium. Right? Please tell me it's making me my modularium. Is that too much to ask for? Or does it have to be in a singular thingamabob? Does it have to go into a singular item input hatch? Because You know, there's 4 here. There's 4 there. Oh, there's 1 there. And maybe that's what's tripping it up. Maybe it all needs to go in at once. Now, to test out that hypothesis, I have set up pretty much the same thing, but over here, and tried to automate it. So hopefully, if I request a singular modularium, the items go in, the items go out, it did the process, then it didn't, it said not enough energy briefly. Do I truly not have enough energy? Let's find out. To make modularium, I need 1.2 million RF, and I can only provide 246,000. Okay, that makes way more sense. Okay, this thing now stores 7 million RF per tick. Hopefully this thing's happy enough. It's completely full. Let's try this one more time. Okay, turns out it was a power problem. Finally. Finally. And you know what? Given what we have now, I think if everything hopefully works the way it should, I should just be able to remove all of those from here, encode this recipe in here, and it's the electrolytic separator. And I should now be able to just request one of these. It's missing a zombie head. And the solution to our lack of head problem is a soul extractor. Trust me, I know. With a little bit of rotten flesh, a soul jar, and some sort of fuel, I'm assuming coal blocks will do just fine. Let's just say 100, because I can. Put a stack in here. It'll eventually fill up the soul jar. I can speed this up using some upgrades, and I'll do exactly that. Awakened Machine Supremium upgrade. I would have imagined it'd be called the Awakened Supremium machine upgrade. But honestly, that's alright. Look at it go. And that is 4 filled zombie jars. Next up, zombie seeds. Like that. Strangely enough, I do believe these zombie seeds will be the first seeds, like first mob seeds that I'm actually crafting. All of the rest I believe I've received just as quest rewards. But either way, oh, there's a growth accelerator missing there. That's a problem. I must have accidentally broken it at some point. Anyways, that goes there. And now my system can make zombie heads on request. So let's try requesting that runic thing once again. Go and do the thing. Hopefully this has a progress bar. And it does. Excellent. Now I just have to wait for a little while before it refills on Oriole for it to start crafting up the cores and the stuff required to make the solar neutron activator. In the meantime, let's take a look at what the other Runic machine looks like, the electrolytic separator, shall we? You know, pressing shift on this bad boy, it reveals a rather long to-do list, but I'm hoping it's a similarly sized machine. Oh, it's a perfect 9x9. How cool. What goes down here? Stuff and things. That's fine by me. I can craft whatever this is thanks to automated modularium. What else? A bunch of slabs, stairs, more rune blocks. That's okay. It's currently waiting for a quantum core, so that's fine. I can do all of this. Hooray. And strangely enough, I need 12 modular machinery reborn casing firebox. It's right next to my cursor right now. And that's the recipe for it. Let me just put it here. It's something called refined Firestone from Railcraft Reborn, and I don't know what that is. Let's check this out. And clearly it's some sort of recipe that progressively crafts up some Firestone into a better quality of Firestone. Needs netherite pickaxes, which I can fortunately now autocraft. So if I just go into recipe and say, this please, and have it do that, and hopefully that'll just work. But next, where was I? This thing. What's the thing in the middle here? Raw Firestone comes from a crusher, which is a 3x3 multi-block. Okay, that's helpful. And Firestone ore lies in the lava beds in the nether. There's no way to make this. I guess I have a little bit of exploring to do and make a multi-block. And in the time that I was figuring how to do all of that, this thing is also done. And this too needs the firebox casing and the gearbox casing and the circuitry casing. So it now seems like I have to detour and take this train to Railcraft land. Oh, and you know what? This could not have been better given that the crusher is a 3 by 2 by 2. That means it's 3 wide and it's a 2 by 2. It'll fit perfectly in this 4 wide space with a cable going up the side. That will also almost fill out all of these channels. Excited. So, to finally make a crusher, you would need a bunch of these blocks, which means you need a bunch of charge motors, and charge motors come from, hey, more crafting trees. Anyways, charge coil and charge terminal. Let's do the coils first. Iron plates and small wire spools, which come from metal rolling. And I would like a powered rolling machine, please, which requires a charge motor. So I imagine I need to do it manually first. Excellent. Anyways, charge terminal then is just a bunch of brass, and okay, I can recycle some items. Brass should be possible to make using the dust recipe. Yeah, I'm gonna encode this. So, first things first, let's just make this manual rolling mill. It needs bronze gears and some of these things. Bronze gears I'm making using the bronze recipe that I'm using all the way out there in the modern industrialization area. Does this need an input? I sure as hell hope not. Now I need to put copper ingots in, and it should spit out copper wire, is my understanding of the situation here. Oh, it just does the thing. Excellent. This is slow as beans. Let me just try a block of copper because I heard that it takes the same amount of time either way, and then this can be downcrafted into the small wires. So the large turns into medium, and the medium turns into smalls. The small wires, which I will pretty much instantly use to make the charge coil. Like that. I should now also be able to craft up all of these things, given that I did encode those recipes in. So, one charge terminal for me, and that should let me make my first charge motor. This charge motor I would like to use to make the powered rolling machine because, well, it simply makes sense for me to automate the process that has me slowed down. Now this guy, I imagine, needs power of some sort. Can I just slap a gate on it, is my next question. You get to experiment with me. I've never played around with Railcraft stuff, and it seems like I can. So, first things first, you already know that this 3x2x2 space is occupied thanks to the other stuff. So I'm going to put it right here. And I'm going to slap a pattern provider on it, and we'll see what happens. I tried putting the pattern provider at the bottom, and that definitely did not work. So, given that this has some sort of port-looking thing on the sides, I'm wondering if it'll work from the sides then. To continue my sciences, I tried a modular router, which didn't work even with the sender upgrade. I've also tried a hopper, and that also doesn't seem to be working. Clicking at the faces with a wrench seems to do nothing. You know, looking at the thing for the powered rolling machine, the guide for the powered rolling machine, it seems that you're supposed to pipe items in and out. So my next attempt is going to be to use a pattern provider on a barrel that then has a pipe going out of it into here, and then you know what? I give up. I'm just going to use the stuff I have crafted up to make a bunch of these, and I'm going to hope that it's enough to make the however many rock crushers I need. 12? They make 4 at a time. I need 3 crafts of this. I got this. Just gotta encode patterns. Okay, 12 crushers is a check. Now I can hopefully assemble this multi-block without too much of a hassle. So far, Railcraft has not been kind to me. However, it seems this multi-block has formed just fine. Now, of course, this needs power, and I'm gonna do what I did there, just slap a gate on it. If I can find them. And as a test of this system, I'm gonna put in some cobble. And it turns into that, and it ends up in the ME interface. Okay, awesome. So this can be semi-automated, fortunately. Now, what I need next out of all of this is that silly quartz ore. And now once again, I've come to the conclusion that the only way to mine specific ores, if and when you're looking for them, is the digital miner. Just gonna slap this down, go into its configs, and just you know, pause all of these. I was looking for runic stuff. I just said delete for that one. And I'm just gonna say a new filter for that weird fire quartz thing. This stuff right here. So new filter, item stack, that stuff, save, and start. Found nothing. How interesting. But how do I? I'm so lost now. That's throwing me for a loop. What if I say minus 64? I believe that's the lowest in the nether. I would have imagined Firestone ore would be available in the bottom of the nether. That's what it said. You know, maybe I just gotta search underneath the place like it said I gotta. Excuse all of the loud noises and stuff. I just gotta go looking for this silly ore. Okay, I guess I gotta go a little lower. But underneath the lava beds, right? Well, here I am. Okay, it seems that this is just rare. I did go around mining for it and didn't find any, but, you know, I just flew over a little bit and plonked it down and tried again and it found some. So I guess I can do the same thing right about here once again and see what happens. If I can find a spot to put it down at least. And I've actually explored far enough out that I'm generating brand new terrain. Is this one of them wither skeletons? It is. Goodbye. I need this spot right here. I actually did like the shirt that guy was wearing. No luck though. Unfortunate. Okay, so after a really long mining session, so long in fact that I'm almost done with the entirety of the mentalist at this point, I managed to get 21 Firestone. This stuff is extremely rare. I think I got at least 7 from the digital miner, and I just ran around in 7x7 mode and mining in small tunnel, and just got a bunch that way. Now, if you guys aren't careful with this stuff, and you have it on you when you stand on the ground, it will start making fires around you, and that may be a problem. I didn't realize it was the ore doing that, and I thought my reactor had exploded when I came back to home, and it scared the crap out of me, but hey, now you know. What I want to do, however, is crush those 21 into their respective fire quartz things, these guys, and then use them to make 12 firebox casings. And it seems like I have everything I need just from those crafts right there. So, I'm gonna let this process up and hope and pray I never need more of these ever again. Alright, next up in this list of stuff is casing gearbox times 4. And you know what, for a change, having a slightly simpler recipe that I can just autocraft is so nice to look at. I do happen to note that the next one along is the circuitry thing, and I was taking a look at that, but I might as well just press U on it now. There it is. Okay, a simple craft at this point, and after a little bit of prep work, I have made a huge input hatch for the power requirements, which are listed right here. It needs 100,000 hour per tick, and the huge one can definitely supply that. A normal fluid input hatch, 2 normal chemical output hatches. I'm assuming the heavy water is a fluid, and then the deuterium as well as hydrogen are treated as chemicals, so chemical outputs. And since it says it needs 9 hatches, which is the second input there, or the second entry in this list, the rest is going to be polished darkstone. I'm hoping that that's correct, and I'm just going to send it. Look at this list, green check marks, and if that says there's assembled, it seems like it is. Hell yes. So if memory serves me right from looking at the schematic, anything but the front can have hatches as its inputs and output locations. So I'm going to put the energy one at the back, and I'm going to handle all of the inputs and the outputs from this side. Except that doesn't seem to have worked. How interesting. It might be because this is missing. Does that work now? It does. Perfect. This was going to be a cool idea of a swimming pool underneath the system where I'm going to pump the heavy water from these pumps up there. But, you know, only after placing this down have I remembered the fact that these guys input power from the side and output fluid out the top. So even though this is a pretty looking square straight out of a 2016 Corellis video, it's not that functional. and I think I'm gonna have to relocate all of this upstairs. After a little bit of pondering, I think the best place for this type of system would be a trench down here that runs the length of this space right here. And I think that's 35 wide, and if I double up the pumps, that would be however many that is, 70. So yeah, I'm gonna put them in a line right here, which means the Clibano core has moved, and I'll be right back. I'm not recording a second time lapse after the failure of the first one. This, however, does also mean that I will need 70 odd filter upgrades. More recipes. Yay. And I think with this I'm ready to put down the pumps. Oh, it seems like I can't auto restock the pumps though. That is going to be painful. However, I can just hold on to them like that. So here we go. It's time to place down all of these pumps. And with the power vested in me by the force of macros, that's that. Okay, now this is a covered cable, and I cannot see what's on the other side because of the cover, but now that all of the pumps hypothetically have power, they should all be pumping out. Why does it say no fluid? Oh, because the fluid needs to be underneath them. Oh, crap. It's late at night. I know that's a terrible excuse, but it's almost 3 a.m. Just checked, it's 3:48 a.m. I should really get to bed. But the heavy water calls my name. Alright, here's what I'm doing as a fallback. I am deepening the trough of water that these things stand in, and I'm hoping that that makes the difference. So I would have to go to small tunnel, and then just mine that entire area out, and then do the same for the other side. I mean, in terms of fixing it. And then do one of those, and fix that on both sides. And does that work now? I mean, I understand that it's gotta be source blocks, but if it does, then I can fix that now much easier. And no, it does mean that I have to go individually and place source blocks down at the bottom there, which is no biggie at all because I can just stand up here and do it. They're all now slowly producing heavy water and it's backing up into this tube. Excellent. And as promised, with a few covers down the way, I am going to route all of that heavy water directly into the machine that is on top of me right now. So, I believe that is enough cable, and I should be able to pull out my configurator, configure this to be a push, and this should be filled instantly with heavy water. Perfect. And to handle the export of all of this crap, I'm going to be using interfaces. In fact, I think I can get away with just the one. In fact, if I'm a little bit smart about this, I should just be able to put both of these side by side and then disconnect the two of these so that both of them individually output into the interface. If I hook up this interface to my system now, all of the items that are down here, in this case it'll be deuterium as well as hydrogen or oxygen. It'll be oxygen. My mind is slowly stopping to work. It will end up directly into the system. All I need to do is connect this like that, and then also for power I want to use a similar interface with an induction card, but I do not wish to waste a channel. And so for that I'll be hooking up this guy with a quartz fiber. And you know, funny enough, this C127 is missing a channel. It's only got 31 of 32. And I think it's because down here used to be an interface and a storage bus. I got rid of one, which has one leftover channel as a result. So I can now just do that and hook this up to that, and this will then be responsible for that machine. And given that oxygen already has a space in the system, I'm going to give this guy a big old disk to settle into, and to turn it on, all I have to do is link those two to each other. So here we go. That's hooked up, and then all I gotta do is right click on this guy here. Boop. Now the system's gotta reboot really quickly. Hopefully we should get deuterium. You know, for some reason that is not transmitting the power that it needs, but it is now. And hopefully we're not getting deuterium in the system rapidly. No, we're not. Well, that's a shame. We'll debug this even more. Oh, no, we are. Here we go. Fully automatic deuterium. Tomorrow we tackle tritium. And then fusion. It's a brand new day, and today, as promised, it's tritium time. At least right after I do this, that is. Oh, there we go. And with the power of being prepared and setting up good automation, I already have everything except the hatches. So I should be able to do this and just, with a little bit more polished darkstone in my inventory, be able to do that. And it should just construct the entire thing. I do like clicking that thing. And I just need to put in the hatches now. Now the hatches here are slightly different. I would need at least one of these time casings, but for inputs I need a chemical, and for outputs I need another chemical. So 3 hatches again. Of course, no energy needed for this one because clearly this one just runs on the daylight. And the hatch in question here happens to be the time counter. But looking at this recipe reveals a certain unfortunate situation that I find myself in. As excited as I was, and as many hurdles as I've hit getting these machines to work, it seems that this is going to be another one of them. I not only need to get the time bee, which is fairly easy once I get time crystals, I also need to get into Nature's Aura, which is a pretty terrible mod in my opinion, with how it progresses, and also get into the dastardly, evil productive trees. You know what? Let's just skip that part for now and move on to the chemical infuser, the machine that is responsible for combining deuterium and tritium, because I can always do this for tritium while I automate that. So, this is another one of the same machines, and you know, I have a perfectly set up machine right here that's ready and waiting. And oh, would you look at that? I've already made the chemical infuser. I must be so well prepared. Yeah. And don't judge me too bad, but this is my temporary lithium setup. I know I did mention that I was gonna use multi-blocks for everything, but what can I say? I didn't expect to need time crystals and a literal ability to time travel to get automatic lithium. And much like I've set up that side over there, I'm gonna copy and paste something similar over here. This thing is gonna request a bunch of power that's gonna end up here, output deuterium and tritium over here, and then pull out the DT fuel and send it back into the system. Kinda like so. And this machine has already gone ahead and produced me some DT fuel that is going to end up in this square right here. Bonus points to anyone who can guess in the comments section what goes in this square here. Put your answers in the comments. I'll let you know if you're correct. In the meantime, I've just put down a basic all chemical tank right here, and it's rapidly filling up with all of the DT fuel it can. And this is where I'll charge up the thing that is required to kickstart this bad boy right here. What I'm building right now is the laser amplification section of the reactor. And what this is responsible for is holding on to all of the laser power and eventually firing out of this into that. Now, this I would like to have control using redstone. So I would like to say redstone when energy contents, or optionally I can just say redstone detection normal. And all of this funny safety requirements exist because of what these lasers are capable of. If you accidentally leave these lasers on and put them in or point them in a random direction, they will burn through everything. Whatever you point them at is assumed destroyed. So if I just put one down here, and once I pick this back up, I have to be extremely careful because this is currently being charged by my inventory. But if I then slap a gate on here, you'll see what I mean. So, gate was in my system, but as you can see, this thing will incinerate you instantly. So yeah, this stuff is truly no joke at all. And this pretty much goes as far as you can see. And I'm not interested in dead yet? Okay, it is. I don't really want to know how far it goes. It goes really far. And I would not like to point a weapon at anything I'm not interested in destroying. For example, in this case, that lines up perfectly, followed by my cube, followed by my power reactors, which I guess through this glass are transparent, but they do exist there, I promise. And if all of that didn't quite make sense, I have built this a block off the ground because these dynamic lights would prevent me from putting lasers down here. So this is where my lasers will be, in this gap right here, and my power cable will go back here. But rather fortunately for me, as long as they exist as a stack, I'm completely okay to handle them. It's when they're separated that they get charged. But anyways, this is the pattern I'm going to follow all around here, and this is charged up with a certain amount. When I hit this lever, it discharges into that right there. Big boy, big reactor, biggin, yay. You know, technically I could put one down here, and I think I'm gonna. And to power this glorious mess of cables and such, I would like to use one of those nitro ender cells. Yeah, one of these bad boys. I have an extra laying around apparently. I should be able to put this down and it should power everything on. But I would like to run this only on redstone mode on. So I'm hoping that this decides to stop at some point. Yes, it's constantly draining. Hopefully it shuts off soon. Cool. I just let the system drain itself. But now that this is on redstone mode on, this will only charge when I turn it on. And once it's off, it'll turn off. And this is because if I don't have a way to toggle this power off, I will constantly keep pumping power into the amplifiers and waste all of my energy keeping these lasers alive. I don't want to do that. In any case, I'm going to turn this on and wait for this to hit, I think 40,000 FE or something along those lines. Let's check really quickly. Mechanism reactors. 400 million RF. Alright, that's okay. I can just leave this for a while. Just let it charge up. Wasted a little bit of power there. 400 million. If this is 2 giga, this is 1. And so if this is in fifths, 400 would be about here. Maybe here. Yeah. I'll just wait. And hey, it seems that by firing at this a couple times, this has generated enough power, or generated enough heat to produce an amount of power. 200 million FE to be precise. And I think I'm going to steal another quantum entangler porter set to the power channel to send this back to my induction casing really quick. Just simply shift right click one of these ports to be an output, and then configure this to be energy, and go to the energy tab and configure all of these to be inputs. Like so. This should now have drained this of its power entirely. You know, this didn't take that long at all. I'm not even done with getting ready for the tritium and deuterium inputs yet. But once that's done, I think the reactor will be ready. All it needs, I've turned off the power, this will eventually drain out. I'm gonna hook up D and T fuel for now. DT fuel coming later. Next episode, I promise. It's not that I don't have other options, but it's the fact that I find it funny that I'm constantly using the same thing for all of these, and I keep coming back to finding more channels, and this had the lowest amount when I started. But this is starting to get a little bit out of hand. But you know, all I really need it for is this right here. And once everything comes online, which should be soon, this thing should now be full of its fields. The tritium has come in already. The deuterium lagging behind or something? I did put in the request for that stuff, right? Right? Or have I finally run out of channels? Well, this machine was unfortunately completely eating through my deuterium supply, even though it couldn't craft up anymore, and its outputs were completely full. Were they full? Well, no, there was space left in the pipes, but oh, never mind. It just took a second, I think. Yeah, here it is. Everything seemed okay on that end, so here we are. Full of deuterium, full of tritium. Laser is fully charged. All we're missing is the thing that goes in the middle right here. And that thing happens to be the holorum. Now, the holorum is a recipe that is made in a enriched carbon thing with 4 gold dust. And fortunately for me, really early on in the series here, I had this guy with this in mind. This was the only reason I made this a big machine other than steel. And yeah, here we are. I can now request a holorum. All I have to do is put some DT fuel in it, and DT fuel that I have automated by the bucket load apparently. So I'm trying to do this in one take, but it might sound like I'm rambling. Here we are. Holorum goes here. And if it all goes to plan, I should be able to zap this and have infinite power. And that, ladies and gents, is nuclear fusion. Now currently this reactor is producing a really tiny, about 400,000 Fe per tick. In fact, it's about the same as two of those nitro reactors in the distance there. What I need to do is come down to the, where is it? To the fuel and change the rate to 98, which is the max rate that I can run this at. And now, this thing should be producing much, much more. After a little bit of warm-up time, this bad boy has stabilized at 15.56 million Fe per tick, or mega Fe per tick, and my total input has been brought up to 18.35 mega Fe. But for you, dear viewer, that means that this video has come full circle. I started this video off by promising fusion, and here it is, directly beneath my feet. Now, with the mystery thing behind me yet to come, and a lot of progress made this episode, this has been KSAW in All the Mods 10. I promise I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.